Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whensoever you're watching this video. Welcome to all in the first lecture of electromagnetic and induction. Electromagnetic and induction. Electromagnetic magnetic induction. Yes, it is most commonly called by science students as EMI, electromagnetic induction. It is EMI. The word itself, it is having two things in it, electro and magnetic, and third thing is induction. In the first unit of physics, class 12 physics, we were studying electrostatics. That means the study of charges at rest. When the charges are at rest, they are producing only electric field around it. And when we moved on to the second unit, it was current electricity. In current electricity, we studied about charges which are moving with constant velocity. So such charges which are moving with constant velocity, they give rise to constant current. So in the first unit we were studying about electric charges at rest. In the second unit we were studying about electric charges in motion, in uniform motion. As a result of it, electric current was produced because of it. In the third unit, we learned about the magnetic effects of current. Magnetic effects of current means when a current flowing conductor is there, when a conductor in which current is flowing, there the region around it, it experiences magnetic field. So that means from charges at rest, if charge is at rest, it is producing electric field. If the charge is at motion, it will produce electric current, and around that current carrying conductor, we have magnetic field. That means charges, electric charges, if they start moving, they give rise to magnetic field. This, as you know, this perfect symmetry in physics, it means if electric charges, electric charges, electric current, they're giving rise to magnetic field, then the opposite should also be true. In this unit, the opposite of that only we are studying. That means in case I have magnetic field which is changing. Previously it was charge whose position was changing, it was giving rise to electric current, because of that magnetic field is produced. Now in this chapter we will be studying in case magnetic flux with respect to a particular coil is changed, then induced voltage is produced in it, and the concept is here electromagnetic induction. Induction means because of influence of something, so it is electromagnetic induction. But I just now use this word magnetic flux. Let's study what is this magnetic flux. Magnetic flux. We have studied about electric flux in the first chapter. This is magnetic flux. It is the number of magnetic lines of force, passing through a surface normally, passing through a surface normally. This is what it is, quite similar to electric flux. Electric flux was number of electric lines of force passing through a surface normally. This is magnetic flux. It is number of magnetic lines of force passing through a surface normally. The symbol for this is phi with the subscript B, and the formula is B dot A, which we write it as magnitude of B, magnitude of A, cos of theta. Here the SI unit will be, as you know, for magnetic field it is Tesla, for it is area it is meters, so it becomes Tesla meter square, or another is Weber, W-E-B-E-R, Weber. Either you write Tesla meter square or you write Weber, it is one and the same thing. Weber in short is written as W small v. Now this is a scalar product of two vector quantities, magnetic field and area. Hence this magnetic flux is a scalar quantity. I repeat, what is magnetic flux? Number of magnetic lines of force passing through a surface normally. The formula is B dot A, B A cos theta. SI unit is Tesla meter square or Weber, because for B it is Tesla, A it is meter square, it becomes Tesla meter square. Now I come to the next explanation of it, like what is actually, physically speaking, what is magnetic flux? Suppose I consider magnetic lines of force, they are passing through a surface, they are passing like this is uniform magnetic field. And if I keep a surface like this, and the surface, you know, the direction of a surface is given by a normal, not here, so this is the normal. This is my area A, and the direction of its area is like this. This has been discussed before also. Like if I have an area like this, the direction of the area will be this way. If I have an area like this, then the normal coming out of it will be like this. So every time I draw a normal, this 90-degree angle or normal is giving us the direction of this area. So in this case, the direction of the area is given by n vector here, and you can see magnetic field B and this n, and this is the direction of A. They are parallel. That means B here is parallel to area. That means theta is equal to 0 degree. In this case, what is flux, magnetic flux? It becomes B, magnitude of B, magnitude of A, cos of 0 degree, which is equal to BA, and this is the maximum value I can have. Okay. In case magnetic field is like this only, but area is like this. Area is like this. That means normal is coming out like this. The direction of the area is this way. So it is making an angle of 90 degree with magnetic field. In this case, B is parallel to A. So B is perpendicular to A. Since B is perpendicular to A, theta is equal to 90 degree. And here phi B is equal to B A dot A, which is magnitude of B, magnitude of A, cos of 90 degree. As we know, cos 90 degree 0, so this becomes 0. In case the magnetic field is like this and our area is inclined at a certain angle like this, that the direction will be like this. Normal is making an angle of some theta with this magnetic field. So here theta is there, and as a result of it, phi B, it is equal to B dot A, which is equal to magnitude of B, magnitude of A, cos of theta. So it becomes BA cos of theta. So I've given you 3 examples. Here B and A were parallel to each other. Angle between the two is 0 degree. So I'm having phi and phi B as BA. And here it was 90 degree. The angle between the area and magnetic field is 90 degree. So it is coming out to be 0. Here it is making an angle of theta. So it becomes BA cos of theta. I hope you have understood about magnetic flux. What is magnetic flux? Number of magnetic lines of force passing through a surface normally. Formula is B dot A. SI unit is Tesla meter square or Weber. Now one more thing. Let's come to the dimensional formula. How to find out the dimensional formula? Yeah, it becomes very difficult to learn the dimensional formula of such big quantities. But let's see. In the previous chapter we have done the formula of F is equal to BIL, or I will say it was F is equal to IL cross B. Okay, so it is BIL, BIL. I want to find out the, let's say, dimensional formula of B. So how will I get FB is equal to F by IL? For F I know the dimensional formula is MLT minus 2. For I it is A, this is known to us. This length it is L. So dimensional formula for B becomes M T minus 2 A minus 1. I repeat, this is the force experienced by a conductor. The formula was BIL. So F is equal to BIL. I want to know the dimensional formula for B. So it becomes F divided by IL. F's dimensional formula is known to us. MLT minus 2. I dimensional formula is A. For L it is L again. I'll just cancel L and N and I get MT minus 2 A minus 1. So this way I have got the dimensional formula for B. But I want the dimensional formula for phi B. Phi B is equal to BA cos of theta. Now let's write. For B it is M T minus 2 A minus 1. For A I do not, I have L square, and for cos theta I do not have any dimension. So this becomes ML square T minus 2 A minus 1. This becomes the dimensional formula for magnetic flux. I have been telling you this thing again and again, that if you know the formula and some basic dimensional formulas. You can find out the dimensional formula of any physical quantity. It's again important. Many times it is asked for exam. These days you have too many one markers, so please be prepared for this. So I have told you what is magnetic flux. Now we come to the concept of electromagnetic induction, on which the entire chapter is based. Now Faraday has given this concept of electromagnetic induction. He has devised certain laws based on his certain experiments. First of all, let's write down the definition of electromagnetic induction. Definition of electromagnetic induction, EMI. It is the phenomenon of production of induced EMF in a coil if when magnetic flux with respect to it is varied. I am specifying certain thing. It is a phenomenal production of induced EMF, you can say induced voltage also, in a coil when magnetic flux with respect to it is varied. Nowhere I have mentioned current, specifically I have written induced EMF. Okay, I'll be explaining why I use induced EMF and I cannot replace it with induced current. Okay, now I said this electromagnetic induction was discovered by Michael Faraday, and he has done 3 experiments on the basis of which he has devised his laws. So very first experiment, what he did was, he took a coil like this. I'm drawing a simplified diagram. He took a coil like this and he just connected to a galvanometer. This is a symbol for galvanometer, and he brought a magnet towards it. This coil is stationary, but he made this magnet move towards this coil. He found that when magnet is moved towards this coil, then some current starts flowing in it. Some induced current starts flowing in it, as the galvanometer shows deflection. He found that the current starts flowing like this in it, and this is what the first experiment is. So he said that whensoever the north pole of a magnet is brought towards this coil, induced current is produced. Moreover, if this north pole is taken away, it is moved back, then also induced current is produced. So he said whensoever the magnet is brought nearby or taken far away from the coil, induced current is produced in this coil, which is shown by the galvanometer, which is over here. This was his first experiment. In the second experiment, what he did was, he replaced this magnet with another coil. Like this is one coil. This is the original coil which was connected to a galvanometer I'm showing. So for this, what he did was, he took another coil, but this coil he connected to a battery and a key, and what he did was, and he switched on this key. That means the current is flowing through it. Like this. Now, instead of magnet, what he did was, he started bringing this coil towards this original coil, and he found again deflection was shown in the galvanometer. That means again current was flowing in this. Induced current was flowing in. Battery is connected to this second coil. This is my first coil, and this is my second coil. Battery is connected to the second coil, and as the second coil is moved towards the first coil, induced current is produced in the first coil. This is what he explained. So he said, if I replace this magnet with a current carrying coil, same observation is seen, that when I am bringing this coil, current carrying coil towards the first coil, induced current is again produced in the first coil. If I take it away also, again it will be. So very first thing he was telling only about the magnet, but now he said that whether a magnet or a current carrying coil is brought near a coil which is connected to a galvanometer, or it is taken away from it, in both the cases induced current is produced. This was his second experiment. In the third experiment, what he did was, he took the same experimental setup of set 2, but he said that if I initially, when they were not even moving, when the two coils were not even moving also, they were just like that only, they were not moving, this is one coil and this is another coil, they are not even moving, but initially when this key was switched on and off, that means when there was change in current in the second coil, then some deflection was seen in this galvanometer. What is he saying? He is not moving these two coils with respect to each other. Neither he is moving this coil towards here or not the other coil. He is saying whensoever any change in current is brought in the second coil, he said that induced current is produced in the first coil. I am quickly summarizing. Three things he has explained. In case a magnet is brought near a coil, then induced current is produced in it. If in case a current carrying coil is brought near a given coil, again induced current is produced in it. Third, in case some changes in current is made in a particular current carrying coil, whether when the current is stopped or it is started, then again induced current is produced in the first coil. From these three experiments, he concluded and he made three laws. He said, whensoever magnetic flux with respect to a coil is varied, the means can be any. Either you are using a magnet, bringing it closer or away from it, or a current carrying conductor away or towards it, or changing the current in the second coil. In any of these things, what are you actually doing? You are changing the magnetic field. If I am bringing magnet towards it, magnetic field with respect to it is increased. If I take it away from it, again magnetic field with respect to it is decreased. In case I bring this coil, current carrying coil is actually acting like a magnet, same thing is happening. If I take it towards it, I am increasing the magnetic field in this area, which amounts to what? Magnetic flux. In case I take it away, I am reducing the magnet. In every stage, I am changing the magnetic flux. In this case, what I am doing? I am not changing the area, I am just increasing and decreasing the intensity of magnetic field. I am making it, when I start, it is 0. When I increase the current, when I switch it on, the current increases, the magnetic field increases. If I switch it off, the magnetic field goes from maximum value to 0 value. So in all these cases, magnetic flux with respect to this first coil is varied, and as a result of it, induced EMF is produced. Second thing he stated, the induced EMF lasts. Induced EMF tab tak hi rehta hai as long as there is change in magnetic flux. If you stop the magnet at any place, whether it is very close or very far off, induced EMF, induced current will not be produced. So he says the induced EMF lasts as long as there is change in magnetic flux. In case you do not bring the change, you make it constant, then there is no change in magnetic flux. Like this only, if the current becomes constant in it, magnetic field becomes constant, and then there is no change in magnetic flux. If the current is changing in it, then induced EMF is produced. If you keep on moving it with constant current, again induced EMF, induced current will be produced. So induced EMF lasts as long as there is change in magnetic flux. Secondly, more is the change in magnetic flux, more is the rate of change of magnetic flux, more is the induced EMF. That means the rate of change of magnetic flux is directly proportional to the induced EMF. These are the laws of Faraday. Let's write those. These are called as Faraday's laws of electromagnetic inductions. Faraday's laws of EMI. First, whensoever there is change in magnetic flux with induced EMF is reduced. Second, induced EMF lasts as long as there is change in magnetic flux. Third, the induced EMF produced is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux with respect to coil. These are the three laws. Whensoever there is change in magnetic flux with respect to a coil, induced EMF is produced. Second, induced EMF lasts as long as there is change in magnetic flux. The induced EMF produced is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux with respect to the coil. These are the three laws of Faraday. Okay. If I deal with all these things mathematically, according to this, the formula which I get from this is E is proportional to d phi b by t. This is the formula which I am getting. E is proportional to minus d phi b by dt. That means these Faraday's laws are telling me the magnitude of the induced EMF produced. Okay. What is phi b? Let me say it is proportional to d by dt. Phi is dA cos theta. I am just opening up this whole bracket. So d phi b remains dA cos theta d by dt. This is what it is telling me. In case I have number of turns in the coil, then this can become n dA cos theta. That's it. That means because in the previous diagram I just shown one turn. In case you have number of turns in it, then it becomes n dA cos theta. This is what the Faraday's law is telling me. Okay. Everywhere I said I'm mentioning induced EMF and I'm not mentioning induced current. Let me tell you what is the significance of it. Why I'm mentioning induced EMF and not induced current. This thing. Okay. Everywhere, let's say this is my coil and towards which a magnet is brought. North pole of a magnet is brought. I'm telling you that whensoever north pole of a magnet is brought towards this coil, induced current is produced. This is what I'm saying. Induced current is produced. Induced EMF is produced. In this case, induced current is produced because this coil and this is a complete circuit. In case there's a break in a circuit like this, then still induced EMF will be produced. Induced EMF is produced whether circuit is broken from in between or it is continuous, it will be there. Induced current will be there only when the circuit is complete. That is why I was mentioning the word induced EMF. Whether the circuit is complete, incomplete, induced EMF will be produced. Induced current is produced in case I just complete the circuit, there is no break in the circuit. That's why I was mentioning the word induced EMF will be. Okay. Now I come to the second part. Faraday's laws, three laws of Faraday, they were telling us about the magnitude of the induced EMF, but they were not telling us about the direction of the induced EMF which will be produced. That is given by Lenz's rule. What is Lenz's rule? Lenz's rule says, हिंदी में समझोगे तो एक जिस थाली में खाता है उसी में छेद करता है. Lenz's rule says, जो जिस थाली में खा रहा है उसी में छेद कर रहा है. इसका मतलब क्या है कि why is induced current produced in this coil? Induced current is produced in this coil because north pole of a magnet is brought towards it. So what is the cause of producing induced EMF? The cause of producing induced EMF is the north pole of a magnet coming towards it. अब जो induced EMF इसमें produce होता है वो ऐसा होता है कि इसी को oppose करता है. It opposes its own cause. How will it oppose its own cause? It will oppose its own cause will it become a north pole? In case the current starts flowing in it in anti-clockwise direction. So this is what happens. When north pole of a magnet is brought towards a coil, the induced current produced in it is such that it opposes its own cause. That means this becomes the north pole. How does it becomes north pole? The current starts flowing in anti-clockwise direction. If it was the opposite, if I was bringing north pole away from it, in case I was bringing north pole away from it, then the cause of induced EMF in it would have been going of north pole away from it. So it will do the opposite. How will it bring north pole back? By becoming a south pole. Then the current starts flowing it in clockwise direction. So this is what Lenz's rule. Lenz's rule says that the induced EMF produced in the coil is such that it opposes its own cause. Own cause क्या था उसका? That is rate of change of magnetic flux with respect to coil. Okay. Let's do a few more examples related to it, so it becomes a bit easier. So it becomes more simpler for you. In this case, I just now I told you, when north pole of a magnet is brought towards this coil, what is happening? The current starts flowing in anti-clockwise direction. Let's do a few more examples so that it becomes more clear. Lenz's rule. Okay. Many people also call Lenz's rule as the fourth law of electromagnetic induction. Reason being that it explains the direction of the induced EMF. Direction. That means now the formula of induced EMF has changed. Previously it was E is equal to d phi b by dt. Now I remove this proportionality sign. I write this as minus k. K here becomes 1. Minus k d phi b by dt. Here k is equal to 1. So it becomes minus d phi b by dt. The direction of the induced EMF is minus now, because it shows that it is opposing, the induced EMF is opposing its own cause, that is rate of change of magnetic flux. So we always have minus sign for induced EMF. This is because of which rule? Lenz's rule. This formula is because of Faraday's law. Okay, let's do the examples now. I'm drawing certain diagrams related to different loops. I'm just drawing, just give a pause and think why is the direction. First of all, I'm just drawing all the diagrams. I'm just drawing the loops, only the loop over here. Here north pole is coming towards it. Second, north pole is going away from it. Here, third is south pole is coming towards it. Fourth, south pole is going away from it. Fifth, it is inside, north pole, south pole is inside. Then I'm drawing like this. North pole, south pole. Sixth, seventh, north pole, this is south pole, this is loop, it is coming towards it, and eighth, seventh, it is on top of it, ninth, I have a loop like this. Okay. Now in these two questions, in 1 to 8 questions, you have to find out the direction of the induced current. Here you will find out what is the acceleration of the magnet. What is A over here? Here I am asking you the direction of the induced current. Now we use this knowledge only of Lenz's rule. North pole is coming towards the loop. This is a loop. You have to find out the direction. These all these circle-like things, loops. North pole is coming towards this. Since North pole is coming towards it, that means it will try to oppose the North pole because of Lenz's rule. As a result of it, the current induced in it is anti-clockwise. Similarly, here North pole is going away from it, so the induced current produced in such to pull the North pole back. यहाँ तो पुश कर रहे थे, नॉर्थ पोल आ रहा था तो उसको दूर भगा रहे हैं, नॉर्थ पोल यहाँ पर दूर जा रहा है तो उसको वापस बुला रहे हैं, and नॉर्थ पोल is going away from it, so I'll try to make it what? South pole. How will I make south pole? अगर करंट इसमें क्लॉकवाइज हो. याद रखना, अगर एंटी क्लॉकवाइज किसी लूप में करंट फ्लो कर रहा है तो नॉर्थ पोल की तरह बिहेव करता है, क्लॉकवाइज फ्लो कर रहा है तो वो साउथ पोल की तरह बिहेव करता है. तो यहाँ पर ये साउथ पोल बनना चाह रहा है तो ये क्लॉकवाइज. Here again south pole is coming towards it, so it wants to make the south pole go away, so again it will be what? Clockwise. Here south pole is going away from it, so it wants to become north pole, so it is anti-clockwise क्योंकि north pole बनना चाहेगा. Here a magnet is inside it and no movement, so I'll say no induced EMF, no electromagnetic induction, so no induced EMF because magnetic flux should change. Here magnetic flux is not changing. Okay, now I am coming towards this side. ये लग तो same है. What is the difference? Whenever this question is asked and it is not mentioned where is the observer, always imagine that you are an observer between the magnet and the loop. That means you are an observer over here. जैसे आप यहाँ पर अपने आप को observer यहाँ मान रहे थे, इन दोनों के बीच मान रहे थे, यहाँ observer मानोगे आप इस तरफ को. That means north pole is here, it is going away, north pole is going away, so it becomes it will try to become what? South pole. South pole means which direction? Clockwise or anti-clockwise? It becomes clockwise. North pole is going away, it wants to attract north pole, so it becomes what? South pole. कभी भी कंफ्यूजन होती है, ऑब्जर्वर मान लो आप खुद हो मैग्नेट और लूप के बीच में. यहाँ पर नॉर्थ पोल पास आ रहा है, you want to repel this thing, so it will become what? Anti-clockwise. Here it is like this, there is no effect, so no EMF. No EMF. Now here you have to find out acceleration. Acceleration find out करनी है इस. In case अगर ये मैग्नेट नहीं होता और लूप में से ऐसे ही जाना होता तो क्या बन जाता है? कैसे जाता है? एक्सेलरेशन टू ग्रेविटी 9.8 के मीटर पर सेकंड स्क्वायर से जाता. बट अभी नॉर्थ पोल मैग्नेट ऐसे जा रहा है, इस तरीके से जा रहा है, क्योंकि नॉर्थ पोल यहाँ पर पास आ रहा होगा, यानी कि नॉर्थ पोल यहाँ पर अपने आप गिर रहा है इस तरह से, तो ये वाला जो लूप है इसका ऊपर वाला जो पार्ट है वो खुद क्या बन जाएगा? नॉर्थ पोल बन जाएगा. उसके कारण उसके अंदर करंट कैसे फ्लो करने लगेगा? एंटी क्लॉकवाइज. अगर करंट एंटी क्लॉकवाइज करने लगा तो इस नॉर्थ पोल को रिपेल करेगा, यानी कि यहाँ पर जो एक्सेलरेशन होगी ये जी से थोड़ी कम हो जाएगी. अगर आपका ये बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग है, हो सकता है एक्सेलरेशन आपकी उल्टा हो जाए और आपका मैग्नेट ऊपर चला जाए, ऐसा भी हो सकता है. बट इस केस में मान रहे हैं कि एक सिंगल वही है तो एक्सेलरेशन थोड़ी कम हो जाएगी, जी से कम हो जाएगी. अगर पूरा का पूरा मैग्नेट ऐसे आता है, नो इफेक्ट. So there is no direction of induced EMF. A is equal to here G only. कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा क्योंकि दोनों पूरा का पूरा मैग्नेट आ रहा है, एक तरफ से मैग्नेटिक लाइंस ऑफ फोर्स नहीं आ रही, पूरी की पूरी आ रही है, इट इज कटिंग सेम. तो इससे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा क्योंकि नॉर्थ पोल की भी है, साउथ पोल की भी कैंसिल होकर मैग्नेटिक की. ओके, एक और क्वेश्चन आता है, इट इज गिवन इन एनसीईआरटी आल्सो. आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड दिस. Suppose again I have a loop like this only, loop like this, and I have connected it to a capacitor. This capacitor is not charged. It is not charged at all. It is a capacitor, and then I bring a magnet towards it. Let's say I bring a north pole of a magnet towards it. If I bring the north pole of a magnet towards it, that means this loop will have induced current in it. If it will have induced current in it, what should be the direction of induced current? Since north pole is coming, the direction of the current should be what? Clockwise, anti-clockwise? Yes, it should be anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise. Now they are asking what is the charge on the capacitor? क्योंकि क्वेश्चन थोड़ा हट के, ये इतना तो सबको पता ही लग गया कि अगर नॉर्थ पोल पास रहा है तो एंटी-क्लॉकवाइज करंट होगा. अब पूछ रहे हैं इस कैपेसिटर पे चार्ज क्या होगा. अब हमने बोल दिया कि करंट ऐसे होगा, करंट का डायरेक्शन में पता लगता है। करंट का डायरेक्शन अगर हम सेकेंड यूनिट पाएँ, व्हाट इज द डायरेक्शन ऑफ करंट? द डायरेक्शन ऑफ करंट इज ऑपोजिट टू द डायरेक्शन ऑफ फ्लो ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन्स। यानी कि अगर करंट इस डायरेक्शन में जा रहा है, इसका मतलब इलेक्ट्रॉन्स इस डायरेक्शन में आ रहे हैं, यानी कि ये वाली साइड क्या हो जाएगी, ये नेगेटिवली चार्ज हो जाएगी, और ये वाली साइड ऑब्वियसली क्या हो जाएगी, पॉजिटिवली चार्ज हो जाएगी। यहाँ पर यहाँ से इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, यहाँ इसमें इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आ रहे हैं और इससे इलेक्ट्रॉन्स जा रहे हैं, तो ये वाली साइड पॉजिटिव हो जाएगी, वाली साइड नेगेटिव हो जाएगी। प्लीज इस बात से कंफ्यूज मत होना कि बैटरी का डायरेक्शन या कैपेसिटर में करंट का डायरेक्शन प्लस टू माइनस होता है, यहाँ उल्टा क्यों होगा, हम वो नहीं कर रहे। हमारा तो इंड्यूस करंट के कारण कैपेसिटर चार्ज हो रहा है, इसलिए ये वाली साइड पॉजिटिवली चार्ज हो गई और ये वाली साइड क्या हो गई, नेगेटिवली चार्ज। क्यों? सबसे पहले हमने करंट का डायरेक्शन निकाला, इंड्यूस करंट का डायरेक्शन निकला एंटी क्लॉकवाइज, क्योंकि नॉर्थ पोल पास आ रहा था, नॉर्थ पोल को रिपेयर करने के लिए इसको एंटी क्लॉकवाइज करंट चाहिए। अब ये करंट क्यों जा रहा था, ऊपर जा रहा था, इसका मतलब इलेक्ट्रॉन्स अंदर को जा रहे थे, तो जहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आ रहे हैं वो नेगेटिवली चार्ज रहेगा और दूसरी वाली साइड पॉजिटिवली चार्ज हो जाएगी। ठीक है, इज इट क्लियर? नाउ आई कम टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। Always remember, one of these examples is definitely be there in your exam. Now question is explain how Lenz's rule is in accordance with law of conservation of energy. अरे भाई ये कहाँ से आ गया, law of conservation of energy. But you have to prove that Lenz's rule is in accordance with law of conservation of energy. कैसे भी उल्टे काम कर रहा है Lenz's rule, नेगेटिव आ रहा है, उल्टा जा रहा है, but it is still universe, it is in accordance with law of conservation of energy. You know, law of conservation of energy, law of conservation of charge, these are universal laws. So this is law of conservation of energy. It is abiding, Lenz's rule is abiding the laws of conservation of energy. Let's see how is it so. I'll just come to that loop again, the old loop which I had been drawing like this. Intentionally मैं यहाँ पर slanting जो draw कर रही हूँ, don't think I'm drawing like this. Reason being हम इसको ऐसे show करेंगे इस तरह से. Now let's say north pole of a magnet is brought towards it. This is known. If we go according to Lenz's rule, what is Lenz's rule? Lenz's rule says that the induced EMF produced is such that it opposes its own cause, that is rate of change of magnetic flux. According to Lenz's rule, when north pole of a magnet is brought towards this loop, then the induced current produced in this loop is such that it opposes its own cause, that is coming off north pole towards it. That means the current starts flowing in anti-clockwise direction. That means we have to do mechanical work against this force of repulsion, and as a result of it, against the force of repulsion, and as a result of doing this mechanical work, electrical energy is produced in this loop. This is what it is. According to Lenz's rule, the induced EMF produced is in the opposite direction. This current is in the opposite direction. North pole is brought towards it. This is also acting like north pole. So we have to do mechanical work in order to bring this magnet towards it. ये Lenz's rule के terms. Now just imagine that Lenz's rule is false. If Lenz's rule was false, then when you are bringing the north pole magnet towards this thing, what would have happened? This would have become a south pole. South pole current would have been flowing clockwise direction. This would have become south pole. If this would have become south pole, then this north pole would have got attracted towards this loop on its own. That means without any mechanical work, electrical energy would have been produced, which is not true. Obviously, it is not true. Is it true that you don't do any work and still you are getting some other energy in some form? It is not so. यहाँ पर भी ऐसा ही है अगर हम मानकर चलते हैं कि लेंजेस रूल ट्रू है, तो जब नॉर्थ पोल का मैग्नेट इस लूप के पास लाते हैं तो इसमें एंटी क्लॉकवाइज करंट फ्लो करता है। एंटी क्लॉकवाइज करंट फ्लो कर रहा है क्योंकि वो नॉर्थ पोल की तरह एक्ट कर रहा है और इस नॉर्थ पोल को रिपेल करता है। इस मैग्नेट को इसके पास लाने के लिए हमें मैकेनिकल वर्क करना पड़ता है और उस मैकेनिकल वर्क की एक्सपेंस पे इसमें इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस होती है। ओके, अगर लेंजेस रूल रॉन्ग होता, इफ लेंजेस रूल वर फॉल्स, then when you are bringing the north pole of magnet towards this loop, instead of north pole, south pole would have been developed. That means the current in it would have been clockwise. Now, without doing any mechanical work, this north pole would have got attracted towards south pole and electrical energy would have been produced. But ऐसा नहीं होता, hence Lenz's rule is true. Lenz's rule is in accordance with law of conservation of energy कि जब आप मैकेनिकल वर्क करते हो तभी इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी होती है, आप मैकेनिकल वर्क नहीं करते तो इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस नहीं होती। इज दिस क्लियर? ओके, I come to the next part. Next part is electromagnetic induction. We have discussed. We have seen that E is equal to minus d phi b by dt. I just break it up. Minus d by dt b a cos theta. This formula itself indicates that in case you change b or you change a or you change theta with respect to time, इन तीनों में से कोई से भी चेंज करते हो तो इंड्यूस्ड ईएमएफ विल बी प्रोड्यूस, बिकॉज मैग्नेटिक फ्लक्स डिपेंड्स अपॉन थ्री फैक्टर्स. इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन magnetic field, area and the angle between the magnetic field and the area. In case I vary any of these three things, induced EMF will be produced. So one by one we will take three different cases and then we'll see what is the induced EMF produced. First case I am saying, if magnetic field, that is B, is varied, magnetic field, that is B is changed or varied. So E is equal to minus d by dt. I'll just count phi v dt. This becomes E is equal to minus d by dt. Phi v becomes b a cos of theta. I'll consider a as constant, cos theta as constant, and what is varying here? Here the varying thing is now just one d by dt. Okay. We can write the same formula in another way. We can write this thing as E is equal to minus a cos theta. I can write this thing as b2 minus b1 by time. In case it is in a differentiation form, we can write like this. These are the two formulas which will be useful to us. Minus a cos theta, b2 minus b1 by t. Okay. On the basis of these two, let's do one numerical so that the things become clear to us. These two formulas, right? Now, question is, a rectangular frame of area 2 meters square is moved from a region of perpendicular magnetic field of 10 Tesla to 20 Tesla in 4 seconds. In 4 seconds, find the induced EMF produced in the rectangular frame. Okay, very simple. Question is very simple. What all is given? Let's see. In this question, first of all, area is given 2 meters square. They're themselves saying that the area is perpendicular to the magnetic field. So I'll just say theta is equal to 0 degree. It means this only that the rectangular frame, they're not saying about the area, they're just saying rectangular frame is perpendicular to the magnetic field. That means whatsoever rectangular frame I'm keeping like this, the magnetic field in this region is B1 and the area here, this is what it means. Area is having direction. Then it is subjected to some other magnetic field. This is B2, area same being the same B2. This is what it means. This rectangular frame is being shifted, which is having area 2 meters square, is being shifted from one magnetic field to another. That means B1 is equal to 10 Tesla, B2 is equal to 20 Tesla, time is equal to 4 seconds. So I'll use this formula, E is equal to minus A cos theta, B2 minus B1 by T. Simply substitute these values. A is 2 minus cos of 0 degree, B2 is 20 minus 10 divided by 4, so it becomes minus 20 by 4, minus 20 by 4, because it is 10, 20 by 4, it becomes minus 5 volts. The SI unit of EMF is volts, so it becomes minus 5 volts. Okay. Now let's change this question. A rectangular frame of area 2 meters square is moved from region of perpendicular magnetic field, which is variable. Let's say variable, how it is varying. I'm rubbing all this. This is clear to everyone? Next question I'm coming to. A rectangular frame of area 2 meters square is moved from a region of perpendicular magnetic field which varies with time as b is equal to 2t square plus 3 these many Tesla. Okay. Find the induced EMF at t is equal to, let's say, 5 seconds. This is all it will be asked. So in this question, again area is same, 2 meters square, no problem. Theta is also 0 degree as before. B is a variable quantity, 2t square plus 3. Now I'll find out E. E is equal to minus A cos theta. Only B is variable, so D by B. This becomes E is equal to minus 20 cos of 0 degree. This becomes d by dt 2t square plus 3. It becomes minus 20. Then when I differentiate, it becomes 4t plus 0. So it becomes how much? Minus 80t. Et here is a function of time, 80t. That's why it is asked t at 5 seconds. 5 seconds. At 5 seconds t is equal to minus 80 into 5. It becomes 8 5s are 40, 400 volts. Okay. So here, whenever a time varying function is there, we have to use this formula. In case it is difference between two constant quantities, I can use that B2 minus B1 formula. Alright. Now we come to next where area is changed. Second page. Okay. Second question I am considering where I'll be varying the area. got another name, motional EMF. It is also called as motional EMF. In this case, we consider a rectangular frame like this, and let us consider that this is length L and its width B is variable. How it is variable? I am putting a frame like this, and this can be changed. That means area of this coil can be changed, but magnetic field is constant. Let's say magnetic field is constant, is going into it, or you could have drawn dots also. The magnetic field here is constant. In this case, which formula I am going to use? The formula which we use is E is equal to minus d by dt phi b. I am rewriting it, minus d by dt. It becomes what? Ba cos of theta. Here, as you can see, b is constant, cos is 0, so it becomes cos 0, d by dt a. A is variable. A is variable. Again, I can rewrite this thing as minus b d by dt length into breadth. You tell me what is varying over here. If I'm taking it like this, what is increasing? Here the b portion is increasing. L is constant. B is width of it, if I call it, that is changing. Minus b, L also constant, d by dt into E. Now, the velocity with which you are moving this thing, it becomes v. So it becomes minus b L v. What does it mean? ये जो फ्रेम है इसको आप किस स्पीड से चेंज करते हो? दैट इज dB by dt. अगर वो वेलोसिटी v है तो आपका ये dB by dt v हो गया, और b आपका था ही L भी बाहर आ गया था, dB by dt. हम इस बेसिक फॉर्मूला से चल रहे हैं, माइनस d फाई b by dt. फाई b की वैल्यू b a cos थीटा, b आप इसमें पहले कांस्टेंट मान चुके हो, a cos थीटा cos 0 हो गया है, क्योंकि यहाँ पर जो एरिया है एंड द मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, बोथ ऑफ देम दे आर मेकिंग एन एंगल ऑफ 0 degree with each other. Now I come to b, L into b, area of this frame is L into b. इसमें L जो है constant है, b variable है, so it becomes dB by dt. What is dB by dt? The velocity with which you are changing this, so it becomes minus BLV. This is also the formula for motional EMF. इसी से related एक और चीज कर देते हैं, work done और power निकालते हैं. Many times it is asked in exam, that's why I am discussing. If you remember E, this is our EMF, fine. If I want to calculate I will be equal to E divided by the resistance R. So it becomes minus BLV by R. Okay. There was a formula, वो हमने शुरू में भी डिस्कस करा, BIL, जिसको हम कहते हैं IL क्रॉस B, जिससे हमारे पास बाद में बिल आ जाता है, BIL साइन थीटा. तो ये वाला अगर फॉर्मूला है, इसमें हम ये वैल्यू सब्स्टिट्यूट करें तो हमारे पास फोर्स आ जाएगा. B I की जगह क्या लिखा? माइनस BLV डिवाइडेड बाई RL. ये फॉर्मूला आ गया माइनस B स्क्वायर L स्क्वायर V डिवाइडेड बाई R. ये मेरे पास किसका आ गया फॉर्मूला? फोर्स का. द फोर्स विच इज एक्टिंग, ये तो इंड्यूस्ड ईएमएफ का है, फोर्स है. और कोई पूछे पावर क्या है? पर पावर का एक बहुत इजी फॉर्मूला होता है, फोर्स इनटू वेलोसिटी. हम इसी को सब्स्टिट्यूट करते हैं, B स्क्वायर L स्क्वायर V स्क्वायर बाई R. ये हो गया पावर का फॉर्मूला. इसके लिए बस इतना ही था, बट आई जस्ट एडेड बिकॉज दीज थिंग्स आर मेनी टाइम्स आस्क्ड इन एग्जाम. सो दिस इज हाउ इट कैन बी आस्क्ड कि this is a frame, rectangular frame whose area is varying, length is varying, or it is moving with the velocity. B is constant, cos theta is also constant, cos theta is also constant. Then find the value of motional EMF. Okay, is this clear? Let's do a question related to it. Then things will become a bit more clear. Question is, a rectangular frame has a fixed length of 1 meter, but its width is varied with a speed of 0.05 meter per second. Find the induced EMF produced if it is in constant perpendicular magnetic field of 0.2 Tesla. Answer is very simple. In answer, first of all, we'll write down what is the length value of L. L here is equal to 1 meter. Then V is equal to 0.05 meter per second. Then what is B? B is equal to 0.2 Tesla. So the formula E is equal to minus BLB. We'll simply substitute. Minus B is 0.2. L is 1 meter. This is 0.05. So it becomes what? Minus 2 into 5 into 10 raised to minus 3. So it becomes minus 10 raised to minus 2 volts. Very small notation. The same thing is used in producing electricity in moving trains. You must have heard about this technology, like between the railway lines, as a train is moving, you can produce electricity. I will say where will the magnetic field come? Magnetic field is the Earth's magnetic field which we have. It will be cutting through that. We'll do few more questions related to it. Now, but we at the moment we come to the next topic. Third application, third way in which induced EMF can be produced. Okay. Third method is by varying the angle between magnetic field and area. That means E, which was equal to minus d phi v by dt, it is rewritten as minus d by dt BA cos theta. But you will say theta is a constant quantity. How can you think of making it variable? But you see, if a particular okay, let's consider the case of a AC generator. In case of AC generator, magnetic field is constant, no change in the magnetic field. The area of coil is also constant, there is no change in the area of the coil also. But what is changing? The angle between the magnetic field and the area of the coil. Like if I keep this coil like this is making an angle theta. If I keep it flat like this, how much angle it is making? It is making 90 degree. If I keep it slanting exactly like this, then this magnetic field and this area, they are making angle of 0 degree with each other. So that means the angle between the area of this coil and the magnetic field is continuously varying. In this case, theta is a function of time. What is the function of, what sort of function of time? Theta here, it is equal to omega t. How have I got this theta is equal to omega t? Theta is the angle with which it is at any instant it is. So, and how is it related to omega t? Let's think of it like when an object is rotating, every time it is rotating, it is making an angle. Like this coil is also rotating. Like initially, if I say this coil is like this, so it and magnetic field is like this. Both of them, they are making angle of 0 degree with each other. If I keep it like this, some angle theta. If I keep it like this, 90 degree. If I keep it like this, again 180 degree. Now 360 degree, and this way it is going on and on. As it is rotating, it is having an angular motion. Angular motion, that means it is moving with a certain angular velocity. And how is angular velocity and theta related to each other? They're related by this. Theta is equal to omega t. Wow! Because omega is the angular velocity and theta is the angular displacement divided by t. So what is theta? Theta is equal to omega t. So I'll consider that a particular coil is rotating with a certain angular velocity omega. As it is rotating with angular velocity, what is angular velocity? Theta by t. At any instant, what is the angle? Theta is equal to omega into t. Okay, that's how I've related theta and omega to each other. So here I'll consider that theta is equal to omega t, and rest all the things are constant. Here I'll consider theta is equal to omega t. So E is equal to minus d by dt dA cos omega t. Here we are varying only the angle. So I'll say B comes out, A comes out, d by dt cos omega t. If it is cos omega t minus b, A differentiation of cos omega t is omega comes out and becomes minus sine omega t. So it becomes plus b a omega sine omega t. This can be rewritten as E is equal to E naught sine omega t. This is the theory for AC generator. I'm telling you beforehand. If we plot graphs between the between all these, I see that my D was a function, that flux phi B was a function of cos omega t, and here this is the function of sine omega t. I'm just plotting few points over here, not all. So if I say this is E naught and I'm plotting the graph for E, it will be like this. It will be like this. Okay. And in case I have to plot it for phi b is a cos term. In case omega t is equal to 0, in case this is for phi b is equal to ba cos omega t, and this is for E. What is E equal to? E is equal to omega ba sine omega t. Then this is the difference. Now if I am talking about cos omega t, let us plot it a bit here. Cos omega t, it will start from here. When omega t is equal to 0, this is maximum value, it is over here. Then it comes to this stage. Then it comes like this. Okay. And like it was ending over here, this will come over here. Okay. 0 when it is maximum, what is its value? dA. When this is 0, this is 0, when this is maximum, then this is 0, next negative maximum, then it is 0, then it comes over here, ये कौन सी वैल्यू हो जाएगी इसकी? नेगेटिव मैक्सिमम हो जाएगी इसकी वैल्यू, then it is 0 and then is again positive maximum and it starts over here. Okay, this is how they are related, and the same thing is used in AC generator also. Let me just tell you experimentally how it is used. This is clear to you? Let's relate. Let's say this is my north pole, this is my south pole. Few stages I am showing. Let's say initially when sine omega t is equal to 0. Omega t is equal to 0, that means it is making an angle of 0 degree. So my rectangular coil is like this. Here the angle between the magnetic field and this area is equal to 0. Next is, I just call this as A or PQRS, PQRS. It is like this. Now if it is rotated, let's say it is rotated like this in this direction, then this will be the next position. Next position means the angle is now 90 degree, like this. Okay. पहले यहाँ था. Now this is P, Q, R and S. Next stage, again it is slanting like this. but SR is over here and PQ is inwards. PQ like this, not this side, SR. Finally, again it comes flat, but flat in the opposite direction now. ये इस तरह से था, अब क्या होगा इसका? इधर को आ जाएगा. That means SR over here and PQ on this side. दोबारा देखते हैं. ये PQ साइड, ये SR साइड. रोटेट हुआ, ये ऐसा हो गया. PQ इधर, SR इधर. फिर इसको ऐसे कर दिया रोटेट. PQ इधर, SR इधर. अब ये ऐसे कर दिया, PQ इधर और SR इधर. ठीक है? This is what is happening. And the final formula which I have is E is equal to P naught sin omega t. So at the B is constant, A is constant. By varying different angles, I am getting the different values of induced. These are the three ways in which induced EMF is produced. We will come in the next class to discuss about self and mutual induction. And have a nice time. That's all for today.